Okay guys, so we're 4 days in on inoculation on the Dr. Mike test, and this is the no doctor. No, this is the doctor. Okay, this one had 8 sprays. So, growth, obvious growth. I mean, the size of my fingernail, grains taking off, about standard. No doctor. Then maybe some smaller sections. Still pretty hard to tell at this point. Those are the front 2 bags. Let me scoot those over. Got a couple more. So this is the with doctor. I mean, really not seeing much of a difference yet. I mean, you can see the growth on the grains even, so no doctor. I mean, it's side by side. Both of those two have it. This does have it. This does have it. This doesn't have it. This doesn't have it. So we're just going to need to keep watching. We do have a couple more bags over here. So, let's see, we have a lion's mane. We're definitely getting growth in there. It's really tight in here, pardon. So with the doctor, I really think it's too early to tell on these, but I did want to do a little checkup, so it's somewhat thorough. This is without, so side by side comparison right there even. We have 2 more. This is without. On this one, if I'm being honest, I do almost feel like there is more growth. There's just, you can kind of see these little white spots. They're just less apparent on these ones. So real quick. But, you know, that's just I don't think that we're far enough into this to really be judging it. But again, with this one that has it included, there are maybe just a few more apparent spots. I think it's too early. But for the sake, we do have so what do we got here? This one has the doctor. This one has the doctor. No doctor. No doctor. So this reishi seems pretty vigorous. Right off the bat, I don't think I'm seeing any differences here. So we're just going to go ahead and keep waiting. That's just 4 days in. And yeah, we'll come back here shortly. Okay, and we're checking up on the Dr. Mike's. It's been 9 days since inoculation. This is P.O. Peony. No doctor. with doctor, Piopini, no doctor, with doctor. So no, with, no, with. So we'll see. We will see. Down here on the TF05, so these two had doctor. Yes. Yes. And these two did not. These guys are about ready to get fruited. All of them. Not seeing any differences. Couple of patches right here and right here. Also patches right here and right here. A little harder to see in the light. So, really consistent in my opinion all around. We are going to look at the lion's mane. These guys are also ready to go. So, no doctor, with doctor, looking for some pins, but not really seeing any. With doctor. It's really hard to see this super faint lion's mane ceiling, but this bag is colonized. Maybe a little wet too, but it's a little bit easier to see. This is without doctor. So let's say consistent all around. Doesn't seem harmful, at least adding that stuff in there, but we're just gonna wait till fruiting. Until then, thank you. Okay, here on day 17 with the Dr. Mike trials on sawdust. I'll try to make this quick little update. Nothing really to see on the Piopinis. They are about colonized. No pinning yet. I expect pinning around the 3-week mark. No real nothing on the Piopini to notice or note. Looking at the TF05 reishi, we have seen some fruit body formation on all of them, so nothing to attribute either way as far as this species is concerned. These two had the doctors, and these two are without. Not much on those guys either. However, the lion's mane is also not really showing much. We are getting some primordia in one that was treated. We are also getting some primordia in one that wasn't treated. Or one that was, one that wasn't. Not too sure what to attribute here. Yeah. just gonna have to wait till fruiting, I suppose. Alright, guys, in here with the Dr. Mike, day 17. Really nothing to note on the Piopenes or the reishi. I mean, they're fully colonized. No pins on any of the Piopene. We do have some little bit of primordial formation on the reishi, pretty consistent with both bags. I almost thought for a minute it was affecting the doctor, or the Piopene, sorry, almost thought the Dr. Mike was affecting the lion's mane, but no, it appears that this bag has no doctor, this bag has doctor. I mean, you might, yeah. And then this is without, this is with. Not sure why these two bags started pin first. Looking at just the spawn weight added to the total substrate weight, and it seems as though that these two had lower ratios to substrate. I don't know, that's not necessarily true because this was 10.8 pounds plus 0.3 pounds, and there's with the doctor, no pinning. And you know, I can get into all those details towards the end, I think. Just trying to keep this simple. I am going to fruit all these today, so that's cool. We'll be fruiting the Piopene next week. I'm going to get these reishis in a tub. I'm going to fruit them in a tub because my fruiting room is too cold for reishi, so I'll keep these in the house. And yeah, we'll have an update on all this shortly. Really, still no information as far as how the doctor's affecting it, other than no real effect just yet. But we will be back, and you'll see how these will be fruited in the next video. Right, so we're day 21 after inoculation. So I just came out here and fruited these Piopenes. I cut them open. So here on the left we have the no doctor. This one's pinning appropriately. This one is actually not pinning at all. With Piopene, sometimes blocks are further behind. And this could be for a multitude of reasons. But that one is not pinning, that one's pinning. And then these are with doctor. So a comparable amount of pinning on this one, and maybe a little less so on this one. This one might even be more similar to this. Usually I would wait until they pin to fruit, but for the sake of the experiment, I'm just going to do them all at the same time. I cut the bags open at the top and then do like 2 cuts on both sides, and that kind of lets air flow on the sides and up through the top. I'm going to keep this one a little more closed just to help for the pin set. The other 2 are going to be just the same. All very similar in my opinion. I wouldn't have fruited this today. I would have waited until it pinned to fruit it, but for the sake of the experiment, this is just what we're doing. The lion's mane, I usually don't top fruit like this, but I was a little behind, I guess you'd say, on fruiting these, but they do just fine. This POW strain seems to do pretty good fruiting like that because it doesn't side pin so much either. These 2 are the no doctors. I'm fruiting this one through the bottom just for a more common, I guess, type of approach to fruiting lion's mane through a smaller section. These 2 without doctor, you can see a lot of pins down here that probably would have developed more closely like that hadn't I fruited it like this. And then the with doctor, and this is actually kind of tricky, it upsets me a little bit. This one I'd say is pretty comparable to that, although A little more sporadic growth. That could be from fresh air though. But right here, this is not looking good. I do not know what happened. I haven't lost a lion's mane bag in a long time. Like, I mean, this is... I grow a fair bit of lion's mane, and I haven't lost a lion's mane bag in a long time. And I think that I lost this. And we look in here. Oh, yeah. What is that? Trichoderma, probably. You look at the block, even. It's like sectioned in its growth. And I noticed this even when I fruited it. I just hoped that it would come along, I guess. It has this like transition to where it just gets kind of nasty down here. I don't know exactly how to describe it other than excessively wet. Seemingly uncolonized, although it looked colonized when we fruited it. My guess is that whatever may have colonized it prior is just developing even more thoroughly. I guess maybe alongside some mycelium that would have been there. It may have fruited better if I tried it through the top, but I don't ever experience problems like this. I mean, I haven't had something like this happen for a long, long time. It kind of makes me worry that the Dr. Mike might have caused a problem in this case, but, you know, it's really hard to put your finger on just about anything in experiments like this. I'm doing the best I can, but it's just sad too, because I haven't had a block spoil like this in a long time. So that's really weird. I think it could have to do with the extra moisture content, also, mainly with adding the Dr. Mikes. The lion's mane never tends to aggressively colonize a block, like something like Piopini, where it just gets super thick like this, or oysters, obviously. Lion's mane leaves it pretty thin, like you can see on these other blocks here. And I feel like that also plays a part in the excess moisture being more problematic. Yes. So, I don't know what to say. We're just going to have to take that for what it is, and we're going to keep an eye on these as they develop. Still at this point, not seeing anything. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll check on the reishi blocks in a minute. They're in the house because it's a bit warmer. Alright, you guys, 25 days since inoculation. I missed the last reishi update. Sorry, there wasn't much going on, but we do have some primordial action on the reishi that we'll get to in just a moment. But so, in the last video I touched on, the last portion, I touched on how this spoiled. What we got here is clearly trichoderma. Was the trichoderma in the block? Probably not, but what happens is when bacteria takes over, it allows for other molds to come and inhabit it. So, this is bad, and we're going to get on rid of that. I shouldn't even left it in here this long. Looking at this one has doctor, this one without. So I mean, clearly we got just, it looks further along basically. The yellowing isn't an indication of bacteria, it's an indication that it's done right there. Not a horrible flush. Not as good as this one. I would weigh them if they were comparable, but I mean, it's not hard to tell what the better block is right here, at least not for me. We're gonna look at the Piopini. I shouldn't have fruited these so early, but for the sake of the experiment I did. We are getting a little bit of pinning action. It's just now too dry for the pins to form. PO Peony, my PO Peony, at least, is never right on time. And I just did that for this experiment. Probably not the best idea. I don't know how I could have made it more of an accurate experiment. I don't know. I could have waited until that one pinned, but I don't know. The 2 bags with Dr. Mike's. Not the greatest filling out. This one bag is doing great. So definitely not helping there. That's all I can say, guys. We're gonna go check out the PO Peonies. Okay, so we're in here on the Reishi's day 25, and the ones closest to me right here have the Dr. Mike's added, and the ones above do not. And in this case, it does almost seem like the Dr. Mike's is helping. That's going to be a nice bag for sure. This one has a nice pin set as well. I mean, this one does too. And again, you know, I mean, the difference is very, very small. If again, it is, I've noticed throughout growing very consistency the last few years. I mean, every block's gonna differ a little bit. So I mean, we'll just keep looking at this and yeah, just kind of see how they finish up. Do I think that maybe it helped a little bit here? Yeah. I mean, do I think it's enough to make me use it again? Or do I even think it's a conclusive, you know, this helps? No, not at all. But it is a little bit of information. This is nice, though. Look at that. And again, without. Until next time. Alright, you guys, back in here. What is it? Day 27, I think, since spawning the Dr. Mike's. Take a closer look. So, this was without Doctor. This is the bad without Doctor bag that I fruited way too early. It is developing a little bit, but that's why you don't fruit POP until it starts pinning. If you're gonna fruit it like I am here. But the other 2 that had Dr. Mike's are actually performing okay. If I gave this another day, it would probably look as full as that, but these veils are busted, and that's not necessarily prime. I thought I had a little more time. Should have harvested those yesterday. I'm probably going to pull these today, just because I have a bit other stuff to harvest also. So, I'm just going to say fuck it, and I think we're going to call the PO Peonies. Did it help? I mean, not compared to like that right there, no. Did it like really get... You know, it's like how much of a better pin set can you get on things when they're just like that? Did it make it quicker? Definitely not. Yeah, man. I haven't been really thrilled with this Dr. Mike thing. It's actually only wasted my time, I feel like. Sorry. Lion's mane's coming together pretty good. That's probably got a few more days on it. We threw that one Doctor's Mike bag out. I need to get rid of these 2. So we'll get rid of those. And I mean, we're just going to keep an eye on that and the Reishi, I guess. And then we'll conclude the experiment. Yeah, I was going to weigh stuff originally, weigh yields, and I just don't think it's worth it, you know. Take it what it's worth. Take it for a grain of salt. But, you know, if you're going to take your advice from somebody, take it for a reason. I mean, that's not a bad pin set. Like I said, those two are probably going to be just about the same. Did it actually help? No. I mean, how would it have? What did it do? You know? Yeah, I'm looking more at the reishi that are going on. Yeah, it doesn't. I'd say it's not necessarily helping there either. I don't know. You know, take it for what it's worth. These experiments are, very variabilized, but I'm not noticing anything. You know, this is not a super controlled experiment. It is so hard to to completely control an experiment, and there's definitely nothing out there that I've seen that's even comparable to what I'm trying, and I still wouldn't even call it nearly complete, but what I could tell you based off of the most thorough trial I've seen by far is that no, it doesn't do anything. At least not right here. Not right here. Alright, until next time, thank you. Quick little update on that lion's mane block that's spoiled. Thought it was interesting that it has like this line that decided to start pretty much fruiting. Kind of hard to tell, but where it went bacterial on the bottom, it's upside down now. There's like a clear line where it was bacterial. So in my opinion, it clearly wasn't the spawn in this case that caused the detriment. It was that bacterial buildup and the excess moisture on the bottom. Because it still wants to fruit right at that barrier. Okay, and we're going to update on the reishi bags real quick. We are about a week and a month in, and it almost does seem like it is showing some benefit, and there's a couple interesting things that we can look at here. So the two in the middle do not have it. You can see maybe a little less of a clear spot here in the center. Also here, whereas width seems pretty full. So another thing to notice is the ones without it have a lot of water in here. Now, could that be from it dripping? Maybe, as I'm thinking now from the lid of the tub. But if we look at the ones with it, this one has nearly no water. This one has a little bit, but still much less than those other two. So, I would say maybe. I have a buddy who was trialing another slower growing strain, and it seems like it may have helped in that. Honestly, I do not think it helped with the Piopini or lion's mane, but maybe it did here. So right here we have on the left without, and on the right with. Definitely seem to have a bit more elongation. I don't have the light very controlled in this room, but they are pretty, they are even. One side of the tubs might be getting a little more light than another, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, maybe it is helping here. I'm going to get these transferred into an upright tub that's more like that, and we'll just go ahead and keep an eye on it. I mean, I suppose, these should be fruiting for probably another month or so, maybe 6 weeks. And yeah, over on this one with it, trying to get a good view. Have some decent elongation. I mean, I guess there is some over here too, but I think we'll just see how they finish out. kind of hard to tell at this point. But try to give it a fair shot. Say this one might be winning it for the doctor. We'll see. Stay tuned. Okay, 60 days in on these bags. Yeah. So this one has no doctor. And this one is with it. The one with doctor there looks a bit fuller. This one is without. That one's with. So over here, this one might look a bit fuller. This one looks a little bit chunkier. It's going to be really hard to tell. Really just going to have to wait until these finish up and weigh them. But did want to do a quick little check-in. Ones on the bottom are definitely sweating a bit more. That water that was in the bag did very well. Just had been from condensation buildup. But we'll keep an eye on them. They should be done just a few more weeks. These ones are starting to redden off a bit, but still growing pretty white and vigorously. Stay tuned. Okay, you guys, it's July 24th. These are made April 30th, so we are about 11 weeks from inoculation and 8 weeks from fruiting. And we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at these guys. I'm going to chop them down, and this is going to end the Dr. Mike trial, or at least the first one. I'm not completely thrilled with the experiment. I mean, it's better by far than anything else I've seen, which the things I've seen almost at this point just, I mean, don't even qualify. But so we're gonna go ahead and take a closer look at this. Some of the tubs got a little bit drier here just in the last few days or so, and they've started to sporulate. So yeah, I'm gonna open these up and we'll get a closer look. Okay, now they're all opened up, and so let's just see here. This is a no doctor. This is a with doctor. This is a no doctor. This is a with doctor. So the with doctors are like that, and the withouts are like this. So there's one with and without on the bottom, one with and without on the top. And right off the bat, this one is much wetter. And I think why that is you can kind of see how I have these set up. So the airflow around it, with this one here in the bottom corner, much more moisture. So, you know, things like that. Just so many little variables, and I'm gonna make another video I'm gonna make another part of this video going over just some of the things I think about variables and whatnot. But also I'm gonna make another video kind of talking about how many other possible variables you could consider in general when it comes to these beneficial microbes and stuff. I've been doing even more research, and well, we'll just save that for another video, and we're gonna focus on this trial in this one, and talk about variables that I worked on in this trial, and variables that you'll need to consider in your own trials, but then even variables that we don't need to consider because of processes. Unless you're an agaricus grower growing on compost, it's going to be a lot different than growing on like master's mix or a certain percentage of wheat bran. Much different, but we're going to save that and look at these guys. So right off the bat, you can see much more bulbous, elongated growth over here in this one that had more moisture. We're getting a lot more fanning right here. Another thing immediately, we have sporulation on all three of the dryer tubs. You can see it here, turning the tub like a golden red almost. So that kind of shows me that the dryness stressed them towards the end. I mean, they're done, they look okay, but I think that, you know, these guys obviously would have gone a bit longer. I don't see any sporulation. I could be wrong. It could be a little bit lighter even. We'll see if we notice any when we harvest. You can see, and this wasn't like this a couple days ago, but they are starting to shrivel. So along with the just general dryness stress, after they finished, because of the stress most likely induced a faster fruiting, as the mushroom is going to want to reproduce. And after it did, it continued to lose even more moisture. Not so bad on this one. This one is pretty dry as well. And those are the ones with Doctor. I'm not really seeing too much of a difference all around. I mean, for me, I'm not surprised it doesn't help. I didn't have that much faith in it to begin with, and we are going to weigh these. I didn't think it was necessary for the other ones. We're going to just do it because these ones are so comparable, I guess. I think that in the case of the lion's mane, P.O.P.N.Y., it was obvious that the Dr. Mike didn't help. Here, we'll just weigh them for the sake of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this camera up, grab a scale, and we're going to cut these down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clip these up. We're going to weigh them. I know I'm on the floor over here. I mean, this is just a side project. I have no intentions of selling these. So, and I have a sticky note and paper, so I labeled them according to where they were even, so I had notes, and yeah, this will be the with Doctor on the top left. Let's see what we got here. $342 grams. And I actually got some grains cooking, so I'll be right back. Things are freaking hard. We're at 214 on this one, which is indeed a bit shorter than the other one, almost by a third or 50%, depending on which way you're looking at it. But I will say that this one feels a bit drier too, and that's kind of weird, because there is water all up in here. It actually just got this tray all wet. So it's kind of interesting. We're at 216 on that, compared to the last one with Doctor at 342. And I mean, actually, might be able to demonstrate a little bit on this last one. Super bendy. Like you can maybe hear it. Just rubbing it. these guys. Listen. Oh, yeah, it breaks. That one doesn't. And these ones kind of start to tear a little bit. Let's see if I can get focused on there. I don't know. These ones are a bit drier. I'm not getting the best shots on those. Okay. So we got our weight we're getting into those. Gonna get another tray to put these on. Okay. This one will be kind of interesting. So this is the wetter one, clearly, and yeah, let's see what's up. These look pretty good. Bunch of water just drained out. We're at 574 on that one. So that'll show you how dry the other ones are, I guess. Remember that one's without Doctor. And it shows you, like, just like that, how variables are so easily just thrown out the window at times, and I don't know. I'm going to review some of the, what I consider as outlandish claims that Dr. Mike has been making. with absolutely no proof, by the way, on their part. So 574 on those guys. One more. And this one is just completely dry around the bottom. It's kind of interesting. And that one's a wood doctor. So much simpler. Okay. 328 on that one. Actually, what I'm thinking, I'll take that one wetter sample. We hit that at 574, so I'm going to make sure I still got it all. Well, I got 556 of it, so just to be completely honest. And then we'll just do that a percentage. I'm going to let that sit out for a little bit until it kind of turns to the consistency of these guys, because I don't think it's fair to kind of count for the weight like that. But let's sit out for a little bit, get a little bit drier so we can kind of see what the actual weight might be on it. But from top left to bottom right, and left to right order, we had 342, 216, 574, and 328. So it's hard to say just at the moment. But because this was a little bit wetter, I mean, if we compared the two other bags to the one other bag, it would seem as though Dr. Mike's helped in this case, but I mean, really, because they kind of dried out, it's harder to tell at the moment. But we'll see. Would I put my faith in it? Probably not. Alright, you guys, so weighing these dried, I got them all dried up, and this is the without doctor, weighing in at about 396 because both these bags together are 20 grams. They're 10 each, so we're at like 296, and we did see a bit more of a yield with the Dr. Mike's, which is surprising, but I mean, it seemed like it from the beginning. So 296 on the. This isn't very easy to do from here. Sorry, hang on. Boop boop boodly doo. These ones are a bit bigger. Okay. 296 versus 420 hit. Yeah, so I'd have to do the math on that, but it's about 120 grams more, which would be almost a 33% yield increase on average. So with that said, this might be worth another trial. One theory I kind of have is that it stresses and induces fruiting. But, you know, that's why I think more trials are worth it. I don't think it's worth it on the other ones, like I think I mentioned in a previous video, but for potentially longer fruiting strains, maybe, who knows. We'll probably do some more experiments. More focused experiments. So, I think that this trial was still not that great. I think that if we would have done a bunch of bags, that would have made it better. But it takes a lot of work, and I already grow a bunch of mushrooms. We already grow a bunch of mushrooms, so, and you know, we can't really experiment with all of our crop. But yeah. So those are the facts of the trial. Stay tuned for more fun mushroom info. And if you'd like to make any contributions to Dr. Mike research or mushroom growth promoting bacteria in general, which if you research that, there's much more information available. And yeah, let's help each other. Help each other. Till next time.